So my dad couldn't go to Mexico because he had political problems, and my mom couldn't go to the US because she had been deported. So my life was a constant separation by that border.
Are you ready for your interview?
I am ready. Super ready.
I want to take you back all the way to your childhood.
Oh shit.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Reynosa, Tamaulipas in Mexico.
You were born
in the US.
When was the first time you heard of a border or the border?
I can't remember when the first time exactly was, because I was always so aware of the border because my parents, since I was very young, we were separated by the border. It's never something I really thought of. It was just something I lived with.
Whenever you heard like border, we have to cross the border, did that evoke an emotion?
Sadness.
Since you mentioned your family, why were they separated? How did the border play into that? Speak your truth.
Spitting truth. Well, my dad, he was a politician in Mexico. He had some political problems in Mexico that we had to ask for political asylum in the US, so we came to the US as political refugees. So my dad, he didn't give the asylum to my mom. My mom had to go back to Mexico, and we had to stay in the US with my grandparents for a while until my mom was able to settle down, and then we were finally able to go back to Mexico, and that's where I grew up because my mom wasn't able to come back to the US because of the punishment that they gave her for being in the US illegally. So my dad couldn't go to Mexico because he had political problems, and my mom couldn't go to the US because she had been deported. So my life was a constant separation by that border.
How did you spend your time between the two countries?
I remember being 10 years old and having to walk the bridge by myself, getting to the checkpoint and the officer being like, oh, okay, you can cross. And then my dad having to pick me up on the other side of the border. And then it was the other way around. My dad left me in the border again. I walked back. It's definitely an interesting upbringing.
You were experiencing this at such an early age. What do you think your view of the world came to be from that?
I think this is going to be a little bit psychoanalytical in some ways. I think it did cause a lot of separation anxiety in my life, and I think that it's something that I still carry with me. What a lot of people don't understand is when a family member is deported, and it causes a lot of fears. Being so young and knowing that you have to leave your dad or your mom behind, it hurts, and you don't understand what's going on. You don't really know how to process it. Even me being 23 years old, when I have to say goodbye to my mom at the bridge, I cry because it hurts, because she's the person I love the most and I can't be with her.
You say your mom was deported. How many years has it been?
14 years! It's been 14 years. People don't understand how long the immigration process is. We're still in the process of her being able to come over here in the US.
Let's say any Mexican crossing the US border, what would you put on a sign as they entered the US?
Welcome to the land we stole from you. No, I'm kidding. No, I think something like everyone is welcome would be nice to see.
So let's say you go to sleep tonight and you wake up and it's 200 years later and you're in your hometown in Reynosa, which borders McAllen. What do you hope you would see in 200 years?
I think a dream come true for a lot of people would be an open border. You know how they have in Europe, like it's just a line with chalk or whatever, and you just... I think that would be really nice to see.
Being in the border, being between two countries, do you feel like you have had any advantages?
Oh yeah. Yes, because it's such an amazing cultural awareness. I not only know 2 languages fluently, but I know what it's like to struggle as a Mexican, and I know what it's like to struggle as an American. I understand different perspectives, different upbringings, more empathetic as well.
This duality you live with, Mexico, US, what has your US side taught you? What have you learned from America?
I am grateful for the US. It's opened me doors that I could have never thought of in Mexico. Me being able to study philosophy. You can't do that in Mexico. You would be homeless forever. Thanks to the US, I was able to pursue a career that I like and find other gigs on the side to survive and be able to, you know, sustain myself. It's allowed me to be a political activist. In Mexico, I can't go protest because I would be scared of getting killed or getting kidnapped. And in the US, I can do that. I have a voice. It's given me a lot of different values, like fighting for your dreams. I think that's the part of my heart that America has.
What has the Mexican side of you taught
Ay,
you?
mi Mexico. Pues, I think the hospitality and the warmness of Mexico. Lo educado, like the education, the values of being warm to other people.
Of feeding them tacos down their throat.
Yes, feeding them tacos even if they don't want to. I don't know, I think I am biased because I grew up over there. But I think I consider myself a Mexican first and then an American. Yeah.